Yo, you're listening to
Everyday Superpower,
the place where you can learn about body language, non-verbal communication, and everything in between. We're not even talking about body language today, people. I'm going to riff on an idea for a little bit. This one did particularly well. I did a video not so long back in regards to a law of power, and that is do not put too much trust in friends. And I had a little bit of a waffle on envy and the people close to you becoming envious, okay? Now this, if you are trying to become someone more and attain something more and grow and develop and possess, it is inevitable that you will stir envy in those closest to you, okay? So don't mistake this with jealousy. To be envy is to want what somebody else has. To be jealous is to be frightened of the competition that somebody else may spark. I'm jealous of him because he's handsome and he can take my job and my partner and everything. Or I am envious of him and everything he's already got and receiving and getting. So if envy is in regards to wanting what somebody else has, how can you go through life gaining more and building momentum and developing numbers through whichever field, in whichever crowd, in whichever society, in whichever niche, in whichever community, and not stir envy in others? How can you do that? It's impossible. So you need to be aware that you will come across envious individuals, and those individuals are definitely going to be those around you. It ain't a perfect world, it ain't a perfect life, and we are but animals. We work in fixed ways. As a man, I want more than the next man. That's facts. Well, why do I want more than the next man? Because that means I can provide more for those I love, including my children, my partner, my mother, my father, my grandchildren, my community. What comes from there? I am known, I have identity, I have character, I am an entity. There is nothing worse on planet Earth to a human psyche than being unacknowledged, than being forgotten, than being looked over. A man has an ego. A lot of men have frail egos. You become friends with somebody, you work together, you end up getting a better result than them. You are now a mirror that reflects their shortcomings. And this is where it gets deep, right? Because you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different elements of your personality, of your growth, of your benefit, of your gift, of your opportunities, of your income, of whatever you want. There will be something you have, no matter who you are, that next person does not have. And who are you to say they don't hate you for that? Let's say you're not perfect and the next person, your good friend, feels superior over you comfortably, which in a harsh reality is the best way for your friends to be, for your business associates to be, for your people around you to be, feel comfortably superior over you. Because no one's hating on you then, you know? No one hates you when they perceive you at the bottom. Yo, have you got any endeavours? Have you tried to do something? Have you put yourself out there in the world? Because I bet if you have done so after so long, somebody has started to look down on you and hate on you. Somebody has started to comment on you in a negative way and troll you and do whatever else. And then you look at that individual and guess what? Never, ever, ever, ever is that individual above you. Never. Hate comes from below. They want what you have and what you've got and what incredible talent you have. So your friend is comfortably superior and you're both in relationships, yeah? You're not more handsome than they are. You're not more rich than they are. You aren't as talented as they are, yeah? But he falls out with his girlfriend. And his girlfriend says, I'm not interested in you no more. We're breaking up, yeah? Completely irrelevant to you. Now, after all is said and done, he looks at you and your relationship. You've been doing well. And he thinks, I wish I had that. Envy sits in. Before you know it, you've got a silent enemy who you confide in still with the utmost trust, and you don't know that at the flick of a switch they've turned on you. How mad is that? How mad is that? It's a bleak game when you think, how the hell can I trust any man? They have to prove themselves 50 times over, but you best believe when the time comes, they are still human and they need to understand themselves and understand their emotion. They need to have 2 feet planted firmly on the floor and say, I'm not falling into this trap. I'm not going to allow this masculine biological impulse to have me hate my friend. Because of course it's biological, it's a drive. An ambitious man is going to want more than the next man. Why the hell not? You see what I'm saying? When you get a stroke of good luck, when you do something well, when you have a great success, it's so backwards. And I'll do a video on this called Red Pill Rage, yeah? This is when men come across this alternate information and this reality and this biological information and this insight into who we are and how we react to each other and how we communicate on a real basis. At least theoretically, who knows? But when they start opening their mind, they get what is called a red pill rage, at least momentarily, when they understand the human nature and the nature of the sexes and the people we are. Because it's a bleak game and it takes the blinders off. Whereas we thought everything was perfect before. Things just happen. Now we see it for what it is. And it's very cold. It's very cold. So a man will look at you with more and can use you for inspiration and say, you know what, I respect that. But they consciously have to fight that internal resistance that is saying, I can't stand that. I can't stand to see somebody with that because I believe I should be having that instead. Why are they getting all that success when I've been trying so much harder? You know? Am I prone to envy? No. Do I hate on the people close to me? No, I don't. I don't. But sometimes I do see how the world works and how much good fortune is involved when it comes to the establishment of a momentum for others and the benefit other receives purely from good fortune. And I assess it and I think, damn, I am but human too. And so when we talk about, as men, understanding our emotions and being able to handle our emotions, and that being one of the most, if not the most powerful things we can do, we don't shut them off. We acknowledge them as they exist. Let the feeling flow. Enjoy the feeling no matter how detrimental it is to our state of mind, because that's life. That's the ups and downs of life. Nothing bad ever happens. We just experience and exist through it all. I've lost good friends. I've lost friends. I've been friends with people for years and years and years. Yeah? Now let's flip it back. I'm naive. I don't know how to speak to people on an efficient manner. I don't look into this sort of stuff. I'm a teenager. I've known these people since I was teenagers, yeah? When I'm a teenager, I don't care about reading. I don't care about education. I don't care about looking into this. I just want to have fun, enjoy myself, and just mess about. I meet people on my wavelength, yeah? One person gets bitter because we form a social group as to which I had more dominance, and given I was unaware of social cues and the dynamics between human beings, I boldly and enjoyably held that position, not knowing that somebody I was ever so close to started to plot on me and act against me. As to which I found years on. And I'll tell you what, the resulting damage wasn't that bad, but do you know what was bad? Knowing that I was going to this individual, trusting them, believing they were someone else, whereas on the low key, they weren't the person they said they were. I've spoken on, you've got two things, naivete and pessimism. Which camp do you fall in? Because once you get hurt and burnt, there's a potential you'll end up in that pessimism camp. That pessimism camp serves as a survival mechanism to ensure you don't get hurt again. That's how you'll start looking at people. It's a bleak game. Another circumstance, I've known this person for years. This was one of my bestest friends. Another individual, a third party, says, yo, come here, come chill, come grab some food and that. Within 20 minutes, he sends me another text, nah. Sorry, so-and-so doesn't want you here. Obviously, the second individual in the conversation, who I'm referencing primarily, didn't want that information to get across, but that other individual, in my eyes at the very least, was a good friend in what he did in telling me and informing me of the truth. What had happened leading up to that moment? We started to separate more and more because this individual wanted to stay within their childish ways and enjoy their childish means to an end, whereas I started to not have as much time for them and started to establish something. And that's not to say I succeeded in what I did, but I used to talk about dreams and ambitions and movement. I didn't want to continue cracking jokes the way we used to. And now he's shutting me off. And before you know it, there you go, you can't turn up to the event with not only him but more people. You're now having to turn down seeing other people because of this one individual. When you receive something, you can't show it off. It's terrible. If you win the lottery, you can't tell no one. If you win the lottery and give someone money, they're still going to envy you and say, why didn't you give me more? Why didn't I win? What makes them so lucky? If you look at it, it's a very feminine. Well, it's feminine because it's emotional. What a bitch. Why does that bitch get everything? You see where I'm coming from? So in your masculine frame, in your masculinity, you have to fight that in order to hone in and enlighten your divine masculine energy. That's strength. That's strength. I mean, where do we go from here? That's it. That's a talk on envy, not jealousy. Jealousy's fine. Envy's a killer. People will kill over you having more. And you won't even know who done it. You've been looking for someone who you concerned your opponent, your enemy. Not being aware it's the one who came up with you. Be your own family. Be your own family. Be your own family. I know people, yeah. I know people in health and fitness. Someone I know got a job. One of two. Someone got a job, yeah, working in gyms, became very successful, became a personal trainer, got a good clientele, knew how to establish business, had their head screwed on, knew there was more than looking good. Their brother, who is 4 times the size of them, borderline professional bodybuilder, tried to go into the same field, flopped. They fell out over that. They fell out over his failure. He took it out on his brother, who is now in the position he always wanted to be, and he was distraught at the fact that why would they go to him? I want that. Not knowing it's nothing to do with the aesthetic. It's about the marketing, the business, and the big brain things. It breaks families up. Breaks families up. You get a promotion, you get money, you get luck, you get success. First thing you want to do is tell people in celebration. Because you'd think, why wouldn't people be happy? And you get the exact opposite response. It's the opposite game. Whereas you go to that next person who's envying you, yeah? And you tell them some bad news. You say, I've broken my leg, mate. Or you go and say, I've lost a lot of money. Or you go and say, got robbed. And look at the look on their face. Look at that micro expression. Look at that moment of glee, of joy, of celebration. Wash upon their face ever so momentarily. Just glitter across their face, yeah? We call people who just talk to us friends. We are associates with someone. We are friends. They're my friend. Well, you'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends. Proper friends at a time. If you're lucky. If you're lucky. I wish I was that lucky, you know? Anyway. That's a little bit of food for thought. That's the reality. I mean, you cannot escape that. If you're in the naive camp, you're in the naive camp, but it won't take long to actually go out of your way and become a somebody and understand very quick that it exists and it manifests very easily. You think you need great success? No, you don't. You just need a minor success when somebody else hasn't had anything to celebrate on in 1 week, and then all of a sudden they hate you because of that little pang of resentment. It's as simple as that. This is a man thing, by the way. I can't speak for the women out there. This is definitely a man thing. This is a biological primitive. I need to be number one. I need to be the alpha male, beat my chest. I need the women. I need the resources. I need to provide. This is what I live my life for. I am biologically directed in the direction of garnering what you have. And I am not receiving it, but you are receiving it. Can you not see how that could potentially result in the utmost of violent reaction? Click subscribe. I'm out.